Once again, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Phenomenal Wrestling Podcast. I am Zoe, once again by myself, and we are doing our predictions separately this time around because, as I said, a lot of things are going on. We're still trying to figure it out, apparently. But TLC is this Sunday, and there are 12 matches on this card. 12. I'm going to assume 3 of them are on the pre-show, but we don't know which ones are on said pre-show. I'm going to run down the list and give my predictions. And we're going to see if Nell's championship reign, if it lasts, or if it was a fluke. So I'm going to start off with the Fabulous Truth versus Mahalisha, the Mixed Match Challenge Finals, where the winners will get the number 30 spot in the Men and Women's Royal Rumbles. Who would have thought that this would be the finals of something that involved Finn Balor and Bayley, Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss, AJ Styles and Charlotte Flair, and just, you gotta wonder, if there were no injuries or replacements, would this have been the final? Because at the same time, this is for the kids. So, when you put it in perspective, is that it kind of makes sense. You know, that R-Truth and Carmella doing the dance breaks are in the final, but, you know, who knows? I'm going to give this one to R-Truth and Carmella. There's so many more funny things that they can do with this team. I think they have really good chemistry. And this vacation that they're going to have, I could see a couple vignettes coming for it. And I just think they're going to mess something up. You know, like a very, like how they said, when they were talking about Paris on the show, like, Paris, France, Paris, Texas. Like, I feel like something like that's going to happen. And it's just going to be comedy. It's going to be really good comedy. Because R-Truth is an amazing comedic performer. And like I said, him and Carmella, in my opinion, have a lot of chemistry. So why not have them win? Next up, we have Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio in a steel chairs match. I covered my thoughts of this in my SmackDown review. I feel like they didn't build to this properly, though they did plant seeds along the way. With Rey Mysterio standing tall at the end, I do feel like Randy Orton is going to go over because Randy Orton is a little more ruthless than Rey Mysterio. But I feel like Rey Mysterio, through the rumors, is next in line for a U.S. title match. So I don't know how they're going to set this, but Randy Orton is my pick. Randy Orton is going to beat Rey Mysterio, and it's going to be something crazy. And then we have the Cruiserweight Championship match, Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander. This one really isn't a question. Cedric's not getting that belt back, at least not for a while. Buddy Murphy is going to retain this because Buddy Murphy is on a hot streak. Buddy Murphy, since reinventing himself to 205 Live as the best kept secret, has been amazing, and this man deserves everything he is getting. He has earned it, in my opinion, and I am a big fan of everything that he has done. Cedric, as much as I love Cedric when he started, his character hasn't done anything. He's really just kind of like this really nice guy who wrestles really, really well. And that's it, sadly. So Buddy Murphy's going to retain that title. Who's going to dethrone Buddy Murphy? I honestly have no idea. We then have Natalya versus Ruby Riott in a tables match. And if Natalya doesn't win this one, oh boy. This feud has been messy because obviously they're using the death of Natalya's father, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, which is way too recent and way too soon, or to even just use at all. I don't like them doing this. Even when they did it with Eddie way back in 2007, I believe it was very, very distasteful, and they shouldn't have done it. But I digress. Natalya's going to get the win because, like I said, if she doesn't, oh boy. We then have the match for the SmackDown Live Tag Team titles. The Bar versus the Usos versus the New Day, which this should have been a TLC match, in my opinion, for one. And for two, this better not be on the pre-show. I swear to Jesus, if this is on the pre-show, I'm going to lose my mind. But this is one of the matches that has the potential to steal the entire show. We know that these guys have great chemistry with each other, so this should be one hell of a match. In the end, I feel like the Bar is going to retain due to some shenanigans, even though any of these men can win. This match is the toss-up of the pay-per-view. I personally feel the Bar is going to take it, because in a triple threat match, you can have that really wonky finish where the heel still somehow manage to, like, scrape the win. Like, they'll steal it from somebody. They'll... The New Day could hit the midnight hour, and then the Sheamus can run in, toss him out, and take the cover. There can be a lot of wonky finishes here, and I just think the Bar are going to capitalize on that. We then have Elias versus Bobby Lashley on a guitar on a ladder match, but it's going to be like a guitar on a pole. It's a really dumb stipulation. In the end, I think Lashley's going over. No offense to Elias, but I feel like there's a reason that Lashley's going over, and I will get to that in a couple matches. Because the next match I'm going over is Finn Balor versus Drew McIntyre, and once again, I feel like Drew McIntyre is going over, and I will get to that, and I will, explain why I feel like Lashley and McIntyre are going over in the next match. Because the next match is Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin, where if Baron Corbin wins, he takes full control of Raw. Dear God, no. And if Braun Strowman wins, he gets a Universal title match. We need to get that thing off Brock Lesnar. Now, I feel like this is going to be Strowman's victory, because Strowman has to win for the love of God. I feel that Baron Corbin's friends, McIntyre and Lashley, are going to get involved. They are going to get their wins, and it's going to lead up to Corbin losing, and then they will get their comeuppance. That is how I feel they're going to play this. We then have, for the Intercontinental Championship, Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose. And though I feel like Seth Rollins is going to move on to bigger and better things, mainly the Universal title, eventually, I feel like Dean Ambrose is going to win, but by disqualification, and that is my pick. Dean Ambrose wins by disqualification. It's not a bonus. It is straight up Dean Ambrose wins by DQ. He is not going to get the title. He is going to put a hurting on Seth Rollins, and that's going to be that. The feud's going to continue. They may drop the title on a random Raw. I'm not sure. They may drop the title at the Royal Rumble. I'm not sure. But Dean Ambrose is not winning the title here. Next, we have the Raw Women's Championship. Nia Jax versus Ronda Rousey. And this really isn't a question. Ronda Rousey's retaining. Nia has... There's been something about Nia that just hasn't been right. I don't know what it is, but something about Nia is just... I feel like she's... Not that she's lost a step, but maybe she's getting complacent, or she's getting lazy. I don't know what it is. Also, being paired with Tamina just doesn't work. Does not work. We then have the WWE Championship match. Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles. And I believe for the first time ever on this podcast, it hurts me. It hurts me so much to say this. AJ Styles is not winning. I am picking Daniel Bryan to retain the WWE Championship. This heel persona that Daniel Bryan has developed has become one of the best characters in all of WWE. And he can run with this forever. It's going to be a great match, but in the end, Daniel Bryan's gonna get the win. I don't know if he's going to continue this feud with AJ into the Royal Rumble, but Daniel Bryan's getting the win. Simple as that. And then, which I hope to be the main event, we have the SmackDown Women's Live... SmackDown's Women's Live. The Women's SmackDown Live... Oh my god, I can't do this. I'm so upset over not picking AJ. The SmackDown Live Women's Championship defended in the first ever triple threat women's TLC match. Becky Lynch, Asuka, and Charlotte Flair. Main event. Match of the night, I believe. But this is also a toss-up. Not as much of a toss-up as the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships, but this in my mind is also pretty up there. Now, it is really tough for me to make this choice, and I had to think about it a lot. In the end, I feel, picking against my better judgment and my gut choice, your new SmackDown Live Women's Champion will be Asuka. Being this is a triple threat match, like I said, shenanigans can happen, and this will be a way that Becky Lynch can lose without looking weak. And this can also be a thing that Becky Lynch is like, hey, I lost, but you didn't beat me. You didn't pin me. You climbed the ladder and grabbed the championship. Whoop-de-doo. But you didn't pin the man. And that's something they can work over. This is also because they do want Becky Lynch to fight Ronda Rousey. And I really, like I said, do not want Becky Lynch to go to Raw. But thinking about how Asuka did it last year, when Asuka lost to Charlotte, she was still considered a Raw superstar. So maybe she'll win the Royal Rumble. She'll fight Ronda Rousey and lose, unfortunately. And then she'll just come right back to SmackDown. Because I said this on my SmackDown review. Becky is one of the cornerstones of SmackDown Live. Becky Lynch, Daniel Bryan now, because Daniel Bryan wants to be on SmackDown. He said that long before when he tried his comeback. Anyway, Becky Lynch, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, SmackDown Live cornerstones. I cannot picture SmackDown without them. I don't want to see them on Raw. I would much prefer them stay on SmackDown and just run the show. Not run the show, but run the show. You know what I mean. And those are my predictions for TLC. I have no bonus points. I am predicting this card straight up just the way I did. In the end, we'll see if Nell's title reign holds true, or as I said, it was a fluke, and it comes right back to me. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here on the Phenomenal Wrestling Podcast for our predictions. Please like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Give us a comment. What do you think your predictions are? And we'll see you post TLC.